So whenever it comes to Mapscroll, all you have to do is have an object selected, and by pressing Alt-M, you have the option for Mapscroll in your menu. However, if it's grayed out, more than likely that means that it hasn't yet been configured. So if we press Ctrl-K and we go inside our preferences, you can see under Paths, under the Properties area, that you can specify your Maps folder. So I'll just paste in the Maps folder that I'm currently using, and that should do it. So now we actually have some tile maps. Another thing is for Mapscroll, you can actually specify what type of maps that you're scrolling through. Another thing important to note is that if you have this set to something that isn't actually present, like for example, I know I don't have any BMPs. If I were to select this object and begin doing a map scroll, we see that we're not able to actually scroll through any. And we've actually added an option as well for users to have to change their filter type by going inside their preferences in order to curtail some of these issues. Another thing worth noting is, even though we're in the previous version of HardOps, notice that the options that we have are PNG, JPEG, BMP, and TIFF. And so now let's actually load up the current version of HardOps. And by pressing Ctrl-K, we can go into the same area. And let's look at our map scroll, and we see that we now have a new option for PNG-JPEG. By enabling this, you'll now be able to go on map scroll, and just by pressing E, I'm just going through random maps, but now I'm actually able to load up JPEG maps in addition to PNG maps randomly. I recently bought a pack of JPEG maps just to test out and see if we could get to the bottom of some user reported issues, and it turned out that having an option to actually just scroll through multiple different types of maps would probably work best. So let's right click and cancel, and if we press Ctrl-K as the finale, we also have an option to scroll through all types of maps. So basically, by enabling this, you're able to scroll through all types of images and load them up as in regards to map scroll. But keep in mind that it is working in a series of nodes that are taking these textures and converting them to grayscale. So I see some people having their Mapscroll folder filled with normal maps and stuff like that. Those are not yet supported inside of Mapscroll. We'll have to see what it looks like for our future with that, but just letting you know that when it comes to grayscale images, we now support all image types, and it can now be enabled inside of your preferences. So now we'll just go back to our viewport, go inside of Mapscroll, press E a couple of times to bring up random maps. We could press Tab, bring up the .ui. We can even shift click on our roughness to look at the roughness exclusively and get in and adjust it intimately by adjusting the parameters that are connected via the group nodes to it. And even just scrolling over it will take us back to just looking regular, and we can see what the result looks like. We can enable normal and even drag the normal negatively in this update, which was something we couldn't do previously, and even drag it back and forth through the negatives and the positives, which was something a little bit of a conundrum, but I'm glad that we finally got that added.